If you want the simple method for trading counter trend moves without confusion, this is the blueprint. Today's market structure lesson gives you this simple path to clear setups even when trading against a major trend. Let's install this simple method now. Most of the time you will be looking to trade with that trend, but today we're going to look at on the USD, understanding when is a good time to actually take a counter trend trade when you understand all your market structure levels and when you understand using multiple time frames. Now we have all those levels plotted on the chart, and more at the end of this video if you want to understand how I actually get these levels onto my chart. But when we look at this last run to the downside, it's understanding the key area of structure. So we had a break of structure here to the downside. The way I look at mapping my structure is we look for the last close up on a break. So we have this candle breaking to the downside. We're going to look back for the last time we see it close up. Well, this candle closes above. That means when we see the highest point, this becomes my valid high. So we have this as what we class as a daily strong high in the market. We then have the close up from the low. This creates what we call the daily week low. Once we have this in front of us, we understand this is our current trading range. We're looking for price to pull back against that range for the continuation to run the week low. But sometimes price won't always do exactly what you expect. And what can happen is price fails to run this week low. When we identify this here in the market and we start to see the market bullish move back to the upside, this signals to me a counter trend trade is coming. And the obvious area is that we'll want to run this current strong high, but first we'll have to run that internal high to the upside. That means any potential trades here are going to be counter trend trade against this overall bearish bias we have here on the daily, but it's going to be with the bullish trend on the lower time frames. That is the key mistake most make. They forget that the lower time frame will be on a current trend against that counter trend move on the higher time frame. So let's go through exactly how you can capture trades like this yourself. The reason the market is going to run for this high on this move to downside, I use what we call imbalance zones in the market. And I use dynamic zones, which you can see this level is marked here. We have another level marked up here. And the thing is, at this move down, there is no imbalances here for price to go into now. So that tells me that we have to run liquidity above this strong high in the market. And that's where we're now seeing the market pushing towards. So once I identify this, and we've seen this push down, we have this bullish candle to the upside, we can now go down to lower time frames. So let's mark this off. From this point here, we can now go down to our 4-hour time frame, and this is where we're going to look to see if it starts to line with our bullish move against our current daily trend for that kind of trend move. So when we go down to our 4-hour time frame, we're going to start looking for that move. So you can see that we have this is our current daily trend is bearish. But when we see the change of character appear on a 4-hour time frame, this signals to me that now we're going to start the potential move to the upside. Now, again, we can see that the market, after we make this change of character, we have this leftover area of imbalance, this move here in the market. Now, there are plenty of videos on imbalances in the channel, so do check those out. But the idea of an imbalance is it can act as an area of interest where we can look for potential bounces. And the market does pull back into that imbalance. And that's why we're seeing this leftover zone still sitting here. We've pushed into this imbalance and had a nice push to the upside with another break of structure. Once I see this, I now have a guaranteed market direction of a bullish bias going against that counter trend move on the daily. Now we're bullish on this current 4-hour time frame. So now what I can do, I can start to look for potential setups. Understanding the market is now bullish, running towards that strong high on the daily time frame. So now I can start to position myself to look for trades. So I've basically seen this next break of structure to the upside. We have a leftover area of imbalance where price came into the previous imbalance here. We came into it, we pushed higher. So that means we have this current low in the market. Then we also have below that the leftover imbalance here and an area of potential demand as well. And what I'm potentially looking for was the market to run this low into this area of imbalance, potential demand for buy to run for the week high again on the 4 hour. So that was my potential idea on this trade setup. But what I was also watching was this leftover imbalance level you can see marked here. Now, because the market has never closed through that imbalance, it tells me the market will not want to run for this next low and imbalance below it. So then I can use the next lower time frame to make sure I'm going in the right direction. So at this area, what I'm looking for is the 30-minute now to still be bullish. Yes, we're still counter trend trading against that daily, but now we've got a higher chance that we can run for this potential high. Now on a 30-minute time frame, you can see my potential setup where I took this trade. So let's have a look exactly why and how you can do the same thing. So again, we look at our current structure. From this area, this was our area of demand on a 4-hour time frame. This is my current 4-hour low, my previous break of structure, my current 4-hour high was up here. So now what we're looking for is the market to be bullish, and we're currently bullish on a new break of structure on a 30-minute, leaving this as a valid low, a valid area here of demand on a 30-minute time frame. That is key. We're still bullish from this low to this high on a 30-minute. We have a current bullish trend, meaning I can look to buy with this trend to run for this current 30-minute week high at that time. Now, I'm still going with a 4-hour trend, but I am counter trend trading against that daily. But we now understand why I'm counter trend trading on the daily, because we're looking for that strong high to be run. So once I identify this, what I'm going to do is go back and show you this on replay mode so you can see exactly what happens here. So before we get into this area, let's go back and we can see exactly what's happening. So we have some internal structure within this current move to the downside. And what I'm watching for is for a shift to bullish. So once we identify the market here breaks bullish, continues to be bullish, we're creating these current lows in the market. So we have some current lows being formed, and our last low was basically here. Okay, so the market's starting to show me that we're heading higher. Now, potentially what we're looking for is a full fill of this bullish imbalance. Okay, we've currently come into the imbalance, filled a very small portion of it and pushed away. But I want to see a push through this imbalance, tagging me into this area of demand below. That's where I want to see price running to first. Let's go forward with a candle by candle approach. And we're looking for that push down. So now we start to see a push down, nearly fully filling that imbalance. Continue. And you'll see now the market creates a new reversal bullish. What does that now tell me again? We've now gone from a bearish to a bullish bias. And you can see the way the market is creating what we call a funnel as such. So we have the market making the higher highs and lower lows funneling to the outside. This shows me at some point we're going to see a breakout to the upside or to the downside. So when I see this in the market, I've now got this low as a strong low in the market. I've got my demand sitting right below. This is where I can look for potential trade. If the market was to come back down here to fully fill this area of imbalance, take this low into my demand, I can look for potential buy. I have the odds in my favor. I'm still bullish on a 4-hour time frame. The previous area of imbalance was not closed through for me. I'm now looking for potential trade to run for this week high up here on a 30-minute and that 4-hour week high. Now, I'm not going to go into too much details, but I also use this stats table here to the right, which actually shows me for a week high to be hit. So we can see we have a week high to be hit. I've got a 63.8 chance that this market will want to run for that week high. Gives me that edge in the market. Let me just now remove everything off this chart and we'll run this trade so you can see how this actually works. So this is my entry setup below this low. So I'm expecting the market to pull back to take this low for liquidity, fully fill this imbalance to enter me into the trade. Let's just run this forward. And you can see we had a big push down. The market started to push away. That's my entry. But we do have one final push down, and I could have been stopped out here if the market did push deeper, but it didn't. And now we're starting to reverse back out. And we'll continue to run this now. You can see where the market goes. We're bullish. And we start to shift bullish on internal structure. So we continue to go bullish again on that internal structure, looking forward to run that week high, which we do. So there is over a 7-hour trade. Understanding it's a counter trend trade against that higher time frame of the daily, we're looking for price to run towards this strong high. But we're going with the 4-hour, we're going with the 30-minute trend direction. We had a good potential trade at a 63.8% target could be hit. that is when we put everything into our favor when we're trading against counter trend moves like we saw on the daily time frame. If you want to see the companion tool that automates this entire system in seconds, watch this next video on market structure that shows the process inside the tool for instant results.